In 1990, Poland's GDP per capita was $1,700. Today it stands around $19,000. And amazingly enough, by some estimates, Poland is on track to become wealthier than Britain by 2030. This is a dramatic economic transformation. So how exactly did Poland pull this off? Let's examine the key elements that contributed to Poland's massive economic development over the past 3 decades, and the various factors that shaped the country's economic trajectory. In 1989, Poland faced a critical juncture as the fall of communism left the country with a stagnant economy and inefficient state-owned enterprises. Today, Poland boasts the 6th largest economy in the European Union. The transition from a centrally planned economy to a market-based system presented formidable obstacles. Poland grappled with hyperinflation, reaching 585.8% in 1990, while unemployment soared as state-owned enterprises struggled to adapt. The country lacked essential elements for a functional market economy, including property rights, contract enforcement, and financial markets. Economic reform carried substantial risks. Critics warned of potential social unrest due to rapid privatization, fearing mass unemployment and wealth concentration. Concerns arose about foreign investors exploiting Poland's vulnerable economic position, potentially leading to the sale of national assets at low prices. Additionally, Poland faced the challenge of reorienting its trade from the collapsing Soviet bloc to Western markets. Before we move ahead, while we have you here, if you feel like our content is providing you with some value, feel free to like and subscribe to our channel. It helps us immensely. Now, back to the stuff you came here for. Poland's approach to economic transition differed from some post-Soviet states. While implementing a shock therapy program to stabilize the economy through price liberalization and currency convertibility, the country adopted a measured approach to privatization. This strategy focused initially on small and medium-sized enterprises before addressing larger state-owned companies. The gradual transition proved effective, allowing Poland to avoid the oligarchic capture seen in countries like Russia and providing time for the development of regulatory institutions. Consequently, Poland experienced less severe economic contraction compared to many neighbouring countries during the early 1990s. Economic indicators reflect Poland's progress through the 1990s. After the initial GDP contraction of 7% in 1990 and 7.6% in 1991, the economy rebounded to positive growth in 1992. Inflation decreased significantly from its 1990 peak, falling to 27.8% by 1995 and 7.3% by 1999. Foreign direct investment increased substantially, rising from $89 million in 1990 to $7.3 billion in 2000. By the turn of the millennium, Poland had established itself as a low-cost manufacturing hub for Europe. Its skilled workforce, combined with relatively low wages and proximity to Western European markets, attracted foreign investors. Multinational companies established factories and shared services centres, contributing to job creation and technology transfer. Poland then set its sights on integration with the European Union. This aspiration would shape the next phase of Poland's economic development, presenting both opportunities and challenges as the country sought to narrow the gap with Western European economies. Poland's accession to the EU in 2004 marked a pivotal movement in its economic trajectory, with the GDP per capita at 51.6% of the EU average. The country faced significant challenges in integrating into the competitive European market. Concerns about Poland's ability to compete with more advanced EU economies were not unfounded, given its relatively low productivity, outdated infrastructure, and less developed financial markets. However, Poland's economic performance in the years following the EU recession demonstrated remarkable resilience and growth. The impact of EU structural funds proved transformative, with Poland receiving substantial allocations for infrastructure modernization and regional development. These investments were crucial in bridging the gap between Poland and its Western European counterparts, accelerating economic growth and improving living standards. Poland's export centre experienced significant expansion post-EU recession, with exports increasing by 150% over the past decade. Nearly 80% of these exports are directed towards EU countries, with Germany emerging as a crucial trading partner. This export-driven growth strategy allowed Polish companies to integrate into European supply chain and gain valuable experience in competitive international markets. Foreign direct investment in Poland surged after EU recession, attracted by the country's strategic location, improving infrastructure, and access to the EU market. These investments supported the development of various sectors, including technology and manufacturing, contributing to job creation and knowledge transfer. The results of Poland's EU integration are evident in its GDP growth from 2004 to 2023. During this period, Poland's economy has shown remarkable expansion, with its GDP reaching $1.39 trillion by 2023, marking a 40% increase since EU accession. This growth rate, averaging 4.2% annually since joining the EU, has positioned Poland as a leader in economic expansion among EU member states. As Poland's economic journey within the EU unfolded, the country faced new challenges, including global economic crises. However, the foundation laid during its early years of EU membership proved crucial in weathering these storms and maintaining its trajectory of growth and development. Poland's experience demonstrates the potential benefits of EU membership when coupled with strategic economic policies and effective utilization of available resources. The 2008 financial crisis devastated economies worldwide, yet Poland emerged relatively unscathed. This resilience was not coincidental, but the result of several key factors that distinguish Poland from its EU counterparts. While other European economies contracted, Poland maintained positive growth. This stability stemmed from Poland's robust domestic market, which accounted for 61% of GDP, surpassing the EU average. This internal economic engine provided a buffer against external shocks, allowing Poland to sustain growth even as export markets faltered. Additionally, Poland's economy benefited from a significant influx of immigrants, particularly from Ukraine, which bolstered the labour market and stimulated domestic consumption. The Polish government's fiscal policies were instrumental in navigating the crisis. By maintaining a budget deficit below 2% of GDP, Poland preserved its fiscal credibility and avoided the debt crises that plagued other EU nations. This prudent approach earned praise from the International Monetary Fund, which noted that Poland's strong economic growth was supported by sound fiscal management. Poland's monetary policy also contributed to its resilience. The central bank implemented measures to ensure liquidity in the banking system and maintain stability in the financial sector. These actions, combined with Polish banks' limited exposure to toxic assets, helped the country avoid the banking crisis that crippled other economies worldwide. The country's performance during subsequent EU economic challenges further underscored its resilience. Poland consistently outperformed its European peers, with GDP growth averaging 3.7% during periods when Western Europe faced economic headwinds. This consistent growth trajectory established Poland as a model of economic stability within the EU. Poland's economic strategies and inherent strengths are reflected in its impressive long-term performance. From 1990 to 2020, Poland achieved substantial growth, demonstrating the country's successful transition from a centrally planned economy to a market-driven system. As Poland continues to navigate global economic uncertainties, new challenges and opportunities emerge. The country's strategic location and well-developed industrial base position it as a key player in the European economy. However, potential hurdles loom on the horizon, including demographic decline and geopolitical uncertainties. Despite these challenges, Poland's economic outlook remains positive, with projections indicating a GDP growth rate of 3.5% in the coming year, even in the face of high inflation rates in 2023. Poland's tech centre is thriving, with over 300 game development companies and 417 fintech firms driving innovation. However, the country faces significant brain drain, highlighting the complex challenges as it approaches higher income status. This situation exemplifies Poland's struggle to navigate the middle income trap phenomenon, where rapidly growing economies stagnate at middle income levels, unable to compete with low-wage economies in manufacturing or with advanced economies in high-skill innovation. With a GDP of $1.39 trillion in 2023, Poland has established itself as the sixth largest economy in the European Union. However, Rising wages are eroding its competitive edge as a low-cost manufacturing destination, necessitating a transition towards high-value services and innovation-driven industries to sustain economic growth. Demographic challenges pose a significant threat to Poland's continued economic expansion. The country faces an aging population and persistent brain drain, with many young, educated Poles emigrating to Western Europe. The recent influx of Ukrainian refugees has temporarily boosted Poland's population, but may not immediately contribute to the labour force. In response to these challenges, Poland is focusing on transitioning to a high-value, innovation-driven economy. The country's digital economy is expected to reach $87 billion by 2025 and $133 billion by 2030. Driven by advancements in e-commerce, mobile payments, and online banking. This growth is supported by Poland's burgeoning tech centre, exemplified by companies like CD Projekt, known for the globally successful Witcher video game series. The financial sector is also experiencing rapid growth, with the number of fintech companies in Poland increasing by 39% over the past 2 years. However, sustaining this growth will require continued investment in education and research to develop a skilled workforce capable of driving innovation. Another potential obstacle to Poland's economic development is its projected increase in military spending in the wake of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, expected to reach 5% of GDP. This investment may enhance national security, but raises concerns about budgeting in other vital areas of the economy, such as education and healthcare. The International Monetary Fund has emphasised the need for reforms to address these competing priorities and sustain Poland's economic growth. As Poland navigates these complex challenges, its strategies for addressing them will be crucial in determining its economic future. The country's ability to foster innovation, retain talent, and balance competing economic priorities will be key factors in avoiding the middle income trap and continuing its trajectory of growth and development. Poland's experience in the coming years will serve as a valuable case study for other emerging economies seeking to make the transition to high-income status. Poland's economic transformation exemplifies the effectiveness of strategic reform and integration. The gradual approach to privatisation, efficient use of the EU structural funds, and development of a robust domestic market were crucial factors in its success. These elements, combined with prudent fiscal and monetary policies, enabled Poland to maintain steady growth despite massive global economic fluctuations. Poland's economic trajectory remains positive, with projections indicating continued growth. However, the country faces challenges in transitioning from a middle income to a high income economy, as well as the regional instability that has stemmed from Russia's invasion of its neighbour, Ukraine. Efforts to strengthen the tech and financial sectors represent steps towards addressing these challenges, though sustained investment in education and research will be essential, as well as an increase in military spending. The Polish experience offers valuable insights for economic development in Central and Eastern Europe. Its ability to balance market reforms with social stability while leveraging EU membership for growth demonstrates a successful model of economic transformation. Poland's resilience in the face of global crises serves as a noteworthy example for other emerging economies aiming to achieve sustainable economic progress.